We're on this page. We're actually not. We're actually not. We're just expanding on it.
So just more harder, longer stuff?
No, it's not more harder, longer stuff. I don't even know what all that is. In your function book. That thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yes, I did.
Did we fail?
It was based on completion. Anyway, hello. Focus. One of the parent functions you did was the absolute value one. Do you recall this?
Yeah.
And it looked just like that, correct?
Yeah.
And we actually did this together on something. I don't even know what. Oh, our parent function notes. Okay, yeah, so we've actually even done this together already. If I plug in 0, that would be what? This, which equals what?
0.
Okay. So what happens if I plug in -1 for x?
1.
Okay. So do I need to do the rest of these, or are we good to go? -2 would be?
2.
-3 would be? 1, 2, and 3? So that would be our parent function of an absolute value. If we graphed it, we would just do up 1 over 1. Do you agree? In both directions. Makes a V. Do I connect the dots? Yes. Okay, so in that last unit we did some moving around with these things. So what I want you to remember is when graphing the parent function, from our vertex we go up 1 over 1. That's really all the information you need to know when we move forward. Are we ready to move forward? Okay. Holy cow, what's that?
Apparently the smart
Lessons canceled today.
Oh, you're dreaming.
Stand.
Okay, here we go. Oh, we're going to move that one first, sorry. If you got another color, that'd be handy for you. This is going to be our first movement.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that was nice.
Thanks, Grant.
What does the inside tell me to do? Left or right or up, down?
I don't know.
Okay, let me help you out. What's that?
Thanks.
And it's on the inside. Is X this way or this way?
That's fine.
So therefore I'm thinking what's on the inside is going to be going the same way.
Right forward.
Totally. Insiders go the same way. So they also are liars. So if it says -4, it means, so I'm going to take that, I'm not going to move it yet, I'm going to move it in a minute. I know this tells me to go right 4. What does this one tell me? Is that an insider or an outsider? Outsider. Does it tell me to go left or right or up or down? Up and down. So what does it tell me to do? Okay.
I know what my grade on the quiz was now.
Uh-oh.
Damn.
Looking at this right here, the current vertex is 0, 0, right? I didn't write it down anywhere. If I take that vertex and I move it right 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and up 2, 1, 2, what is the new vertex?
4, 2.
See how that kind of works out? Out of this right here, we just got a point on our parent function. Do you agree? It went right 4, up 2. I went right 4 and up 2. Well, what's that point? It's the point 4, 2. I'm getting ready. I'm very tired. We okay with that? Now I got to draw the rest of it. You remember how I told you we're going to go up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1? But we got a little problem. It doesn't let us do that because of that right there. That's going to impact our up 1 over 1. Instead of going up 1, how far am I going to go? I'm going to go half that distance. So instead of going up 1, I'm going to go up a half, but I'll still go over 1.
But you 2 since 1 over 2.
Hmm?
Isn't it
This
going
is
over-
not a slope.
Yeah.
I mean, it would still work if you think about it, but that's gonna confuse you when we get to some of the other ones that aren't, you're not slope related. So all I'm doing is, this is an outsider, correct? Do outsiders impact your x's or y's? Y's. So I'm taking my existing graph and all those y values are going to cut in half, correct? So, what do you mean, what? So in other words, this one was up by 1, wasn't it? It would be half of that. That's all that's happening. Instead of going up 1, I'm going to go up a half each time. So I'm going to keep going up a half, up a half, up a half. This thing's symmetrical, isn't it? Across the vertex. Do you agree? Doesn't it fold right over? So I'm going to do the same thing going the other direction. Do we want to see it in a table? Or are we understanding what that outside does?
Oh, yeah.
This thing right here simply cuts your y values in half. So does it compress or does it stretch them? Compresses them by what value? A half. So now you could draw it. That would be what that transformed graph would look like. Our original domain was all the reals. Do you agree? Did the domain change? No, I still got arrows going in each direction, so I could still put all the reals, couldn't I? Our original range went from 0 less than or equal to y less than infinity. Do you agree?
Yes.
Look at the new graph. Did it change?
Right.
The minute it did that up to, didn't that change that 0 to become?
2.
So now I've got a range of 2 is less than or equal to y less than infinity. We okay with that? Sound horribly bad? Does? We'll keep working on it. Ready to try another? Now we're going to use that graphing skill to do an inequality. Let's look at this one. Do you agree there's a plus 0 out there? Okay, so now I want you to pull the vertex out. What do you get for a vertex?
-4.
Do you agree when I look at this? I'm going to draw my original parent just because I kind of like to have it. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Look. Okay. Looking at this right here, insider, right or left, up or down? Is it going to be right or left or up or down? It's going to be insider. It's a liar. It says +4, so I'm supposed to go to the left 4. Do you agree? If I take this point right here and I go 1, 2, 3, 4, +0, I go. Don't go up. Where do I land?
-4.
What did you tell me the vertex was?
Wow.
Do you see the matchup? Now I got to deal with this right here. Insider or outsider?
Outside.
Outsider. So is it going to impact the x's or the y's?
Wow.
Outsiders are all the y's. Remember, this one right here is 1. Now I'm going to take that y value of 1 and I'm going to multiply it by -3. What's it going to be? The negative is going to make it reflect, correct? And then multiply by 1, I'm going to be at 3 instead. Or you could just simply take the y value and say it was 1, now I'm going to multiply it by -3. Is there a buddy on the other side of this? Because it is symmetrical, right? The next point we have, what's the y value for this one right here? 2. If I take 2 and multiply it by -3, what will I get? -6. So now I'm in my 2 away, right? Because isn't this 2 away? So I go 2 away and I got to go all the way down to 6. It's got a buddy, correct? Think that's enough points? Yeah, 5 points is good enough. What am I missing? Just one more thing. The inequality. So it'd be solid or dashed?
Dash.
Okay.
I can't do that.
Oh.
By the way, anytime you do something and that mistake is there, you can always just write a note off the side, line dashed. I'll always look for that. Y is greater than. What do you think that is? That's the way it works with a line, right? So if I were to shade for this, could I do this? Oh, dadgum, I'm still on my thing. Oops. Put that back. If I were in my line, y is greater than, would I shade up? So are we talking about all this stuff?
Yeah.
It's crazy. My 3 o'clock people were my, who was that? Was that, okay. That's obviously it.
One of my friends just said that she got out. So
Cheer?
I'm supposed to leave. Yeah.
I think cheer was, I think cheer, yeah, I think it's wrong. Yes.
Wait, so is there an actual pep rally or no?
No, it's not, otherwise they wouldn't be leaving. We would be sitting in this class for the last 30-something minutes, being
What
bored.
time do we leave? 32?
Yes. Apparently when the drums go by, I learned this. Let's try another. Or are you ready to try this one without me?
No.
No? Okay. No break. What, are we still new with the break?
Yes.
What's the vertex? I'm gonna grab my parent again. Hello, home back in, we got one person leaving, we still gotta work. They now have to work harder when they go home because they don't have the notes. There's my parent, right? Because everything I do is gonna be based off my parent. If I go off that, what does this on the inside tell me to do?
Right one.
Right one, does everybody agree?
Yes.
Insiders lie, you're going left or right. It looks like I'm supposed to go left, so I'm obviously supposed to go right. Then it says -3 on the outside. What does that mean?
Down.
Down 3. So this point's going to go over 1, down 3. So your new vertex would be what?
1 -3.
So I got 1 -3, and I can do that either by simply pulling it out, or I could do the movement. It does not matter which way you want to do it. Am I ready to do 1-1s? No, sure. Look.
Yeah.
You got a 2 out here you got to deal with. Is that 2 on the inside or outside? Outside impacts your y's. So now every single y value, instead of going up 1, I have to take those y values and multiply them by. So now I'm going to go up 2. Up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. So then what? The next one would be up 2 over 1, because these are all going by 1, 1, right? Oh, dash. Thank you. I was getting ready to draw my line again. Y is less than.
Should be down.
Put your pencil on it. Draw down. Oh, I like that sound. Sound like a light bulb. I don't know, we just like the way it looks when we color. Okay? You have a class worksheet. It's the stapled one. Try a few. No, best to do it now. Because what you don't finish is turning into homework. You're stapled. Start up with the first one. We're going to come back to the notes in just a second. I'm recording, by the way. Okay.
Oh.
Hello.
So I'm going to write this down just to help you because I don't know that it's anywhere on this page for you. Do you agree that so far we have determined that HK is our vertex?
Yes.
We've been able to pull that out each time. So therefore, if you go find your vertex, what's this vertex?
0.
0, 5.
That means that I've got what? X. Do I have to put minus 0?
No.
So I could just close it out, and then what do I put for K?
0.
Plus
Plus
5.
5.
Plus 5. Right? Because here's my HK.
But isn't it just going 1 over 1?
I haven't gotten that far. That's what I'm getting ready to do. So this was just my outside shift up. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Now let's talk about if my y's increased. Going from my vertex, notice it goes up 1 over 1. Isn't that what the parent does? It's not really going up 1 over 1. I know it's not. But do you see how it's going 1 and 1?
Yeah.
Yes? Okay, so now I want you to talk to me about, is it facing the right direction? No, it's been what? So, is that on the inside or outside? Did it flip vertically or horizontally? Vertically. So that impacts the x's or the y's. So on the outside, I would put,
1 out.
And that's it.
first thing I went and did was I found my vertex. Then I determined, hey, is this going by 1 still? Do I need a 2 or 3 or something else? Then it flipped over. Okay? That's just an equation. Okay, ready to try the inequality? All right, let's do a couple of equations. Flip your page.
That's crossword?
X.
If I put my pencil on here,
Yeah.
I'm going to be pointing up to my shaded area, correct?
Yep.
So would that be the greater y values or the lesser y values?
Greater.
The greater.
So therefore, this should be a greater than sign.
Oh, wait. Oh,
If this is my vertex, what is that value? -2 what? 1, 2, 3? Do you agree?
yes.
So that'll be my HK. I'll deal with that in a second.
I forgot my phone.
Oh no.
People are leaving.
No, they're not. That's people who are supposed to be leaving. Do I have any 320s?
I'm a cheerleader.
Okay, then you probably
Good for
should.
you.
You're not dressed right for that.
I'm varsity. Just made the team.
You should have. Looking at this, do you agree this would be my next point at 1, 1? Do you?
Yes.
It should be, but it's not there. Instead, it's over here. So what did that value do?
Went down.
Went down 2.
It doubled. Don't talk to me about the down. That's going to be my reflection.
Oh.
Did it double?
Yes.
Yes.
If it had been at 3 instead of 1, it would have tripled. If it had been at 4 instead of 1, it would have quadrupled. Okay. So that means my A value, right? We got our, or my, I should have an A for that, not an M. My A value is 3. What about the graph reflecting? What makes it reflect? A negative. Did my graph shift left or right? It went left
Yes.
2. So insiders lie,
Plus 2.
plus 2. Did my graph shift up or down? 3. There's my reflection. This is how my y's, why did I put a 3? Y'all let me put a 3? Y'all just let me put a 3. It's a 2. That's supposed to be a 2. My y value's doubled. Do you agree?
Yes.
And then after that, all I have to do is plug in my vertex, because that's going to be your vertex. Are you okay with that? Okay, so look at your classwork for the inequality. How many solutions do you see in this one right here?
2.
Isn't it just where they meet? So we got one solution.
Yes.
How many solutions do you see over here?
2.
They're never going to cross, right? As this line goes out, there's no way they're ever going to cross. So this is a no solution one.
Can you just put the little 0 there slash?
That's a bad idea because you go to put in 0, 0 and what happens?
Okay.
I'm thinking they actually have a solution at 0, 0.
No, I was gonna put 0 then.
What about this scenario?
The ends with the one with the
This is infinitely many, right? Because this line is going right along with that one.
Yeah.
So infinitely many solutions. What about this one over here?
Two solutions.
You've got two solutions. This is what you're going to see most often. And so what happens is when you get an equation like this, x plus 2 is equal to 8. I want to start off by graphing it because that you're already familiar with. But I don't want to graph, I just want to graph the left side. Forget about this 8, okay? Do we know how to graph y equals 8?
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Plus 8.
Go down to the bottom. You'll notice up here it says to graph y equals 8. Would that be a horizontal or vertical line? Go to where y equals 8 and place a point. Go to where y equals 8 and place a point.
Okay, perfect.
Got it?
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm going to go place one.
That's horizontal.
Is your point in the same place as mine?
No.
Well, I'm going to put another one. Y equals 8 in both those places and every other place along that horizontal line. So y equals 8 is actually a horizontal line. Now we have to graph the other part, right? X plus 2. So for my parent function, what does that in the parentheses tell me x plus 2 to do?
X minus 2.
Insider's lies, so go left 2.
Yeah.
So my vertex would have been at 0, 0. Now it's going to be here. There's nothing on the outside, so it tells me to go up 1 over 1. How many times will I cross y equals 8? 2 times. So there's going to be 2 solutions. How are we going to get 2 solutions? Let's figure that out. Anytime you have these absolute values, you divide it out, you break it into 2. I'm going to take it out and one of them is going to be negative. The other one's going to be positive. You are writing this. So every time you solve for absolute values, you know based on the way that graph looks, you're going to get 2 solutions, right? This is how you get them. Immediately take everything out once you have the absolute value by itself. So what would I do now if I were going to solve this? The left side. Isn't this like having a negative 1? So what do I do with it? So I get what? Negative x? Negative 2 equals 8. Then what? So if I add 2 to both sides, I get negative 8 equals 10. Do you agree?
Yeah.
And then what? Divide by negative 1, I get x equals negative 1. Negative 10, I don't know. I have no idea. Let's go with negative 10. What about the other side? How do I get it by itself? Subtract the 2, and I get x equals what? 6. Okay. We okay with all that? Yes? Okay, let's see how we did. Right here's a point where we cross, correct? What's the x value of that point?
6 and 8.
6 and 8. So it equals 8 at where x equals 6. Wasn't that our answer on the right? What's our answer on the left? There you go. Enjoy your pep rally, I guess. We're a little early today. That turns into homework.
Is the homework on the desk?
That is your homework. The classwork becomes your homework.
Okay, and nothing else.
Yeah, the staple paper. Okay.
No, like, can you get my phone? My charger?
Hey, don't forget your phone.